Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
We're back.
Hello.
We are back for another awesome live stream, and the gang's all here. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's just jump right into things. We've got a lot to talk about today. For starters, we will be having a workshop next week. We were talking about doing it last week. We've decided to add to what we were planning on doing. So you'll want to check that one out next week. It's going to be on integrating your Rive interactive animations with sites like Webflow and Framer and things like that. So we'll go into some in-depth ways to integrate those things. So it should be a really, really good one and a good way to learn how to get your Rive animations into your personal websites and things like that. So I'm very excited for that. Let's see, we've got, kind of on the tail end of that, there was something that I discovered over the weekend or at the end of last week. And somebody had mentioned or asked about this in the chat at a previous live stream. And they were asking if you could add your projects, your interactive Rive animations into your Behance portfolio. So if you don't know what Behance is, it's like Adobe's WYSIWYG portfolio builder. And there's a huge community that uses it, and you can find inspiration and add all sorts of different file formats and things like that. So they did finally add the Rive Embed option. So I'm going to go ahead and show you really quick how that works. Let me share my screen. Let's see if I can get this to work. Don't share all that. I'm going to have to share it for a second. Okay. Can you guys hear me still?
Yes, Ultra Inception.
All right, let's get away from that quickly. All right, can you see Rive now?
Looks nice.
All right, so this is an animation that's got a little interactivity to it. And I'll show you that here really quick. So you click on the bag, click and hold, and it pops out this little inventory. And you can kind of click and hold and mouse over these. So the cool thing about this is we can go ahead and grab our share link here. And we want this embed code, the iframe one. We'll copy that. And then over on my Behance portfolio, can you see this? Kind of just like this.
Yep.
Start building your project. So here, there's this embed option. And so we'll open that and then paste that code from Rive into the embed window. Click embed. And there you go. You've got all of your Rive listeners and inputs and everything working right in Behance. So if there's an interactive project or just a simple animation you've made that you wanted to add to your Behance portfolio, you can do it really easily with that new embed functionality. So yeah, I think that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, Behance has there's a lot of active users on there, so it's a good way to get Rive out in front of people who might not have seen it before. Yeah. So, here we go again. Whoa. Actually, let's remove that for a second while I gather my bearings. I wanted to touch on another thing. We've gotten a few questions, support questions about body moving, which is a plugin that you can use with After Effects that lets you export JSON files. You can use it for exporting to Lottie as well, but these were specific to Rive, which, since this is a Rive live stream, we're going to address. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on where you can get that, kind of what it is, where you can get it. Let me share here again. Oh, just bear with me here. Okay. So this is exchange.adobe.com. So because it is an After Effects extension or plugin, you'd need to have a Creative Cloud subscription. If we go to Creative Cloud, and we can search for body moving, this extension here. And so this, you install it like you would any other extension on this Exchange. It's got some options. It'll let you select Rive as an export option. There's some caveats, like there's some things it doesn't like. So like basic animations will export pretty well, but you'll just want to play with it. It's just an option to kind of get you started. If you've got an After Effects project that you wanted to try and get into Rive, that's definitely worth a shot. So just thought I'd share that with everybody. We definitely still, would love you to build and design everything in Rive. It just is a little bit easier process. But if there was a project that you wanted to try and get out of After Effects into Rive, this is a route to go. I believe we're planning on making a more robust exporter-importer for this. So stay tuned for that. But as of now, this is an option to try out. All right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you don't have to see that and get all nauseous and stuff like that. Okay. What else do we have? Oh, Robert.
Yes.
You want to talk about maybe some upcoming features?
Ooh, yes. So 2 features really quick. They're right around the corner. In fact, if you peek around the corner, it might, oh gosh, so scary because they're so close. The first one is we've got the new website. It's coming soon. If you've been following us on Twitter, you've probably seen some clips of it. Guido and everybody else who's put in work on that made a really great website. So hopefully everybody's going to be excited about that. The other thing is remixing. This is something that we had back in Flare and Nema days, and it made it really easy to go into the community and find other people's work and remix that so that you either had a good starting template, some good place to start from. Maybe they had a cool design or cool animation, and it's also a great way to learn from other folks. So like if you see something that JC or Michael or any of us do and you want to know how we did it, you can grab the file. Well, you don't even have to download it anymore, because when you remix, it's just going to create a copy and stick it in your file browser. So you can either save it for later or use it right then and start, digging into the rig or the animation or whatever. So those are coming very, very, very soon. Like I said, they're scary close. So keep an eye out on Twitter, YouTube. You know how we do announcements at this point. And that's it for me. That's all I got today.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I think if you check out our Rive Twitter, there's been some retweets and some sneak peeks of the Framer site, which I think everybody's really excited. It shows off a lot of the capabilities of Rive, and also it's a good kind of case study in terms of integration, like integrating all of those Rive assets and animations into a Framer site is pretty cool. So
yeah, I love that get started button that JC made. That thing is awesome.
Oh yeah. It'll be the best button on the internet, hands down.
In fact, I agree. Many people are saying this.
It's already being spoken of.
Mm-hmm.
One quick thing before I hand it off to JC. There was we had a few support tickets around the cloud renderer in the Rive editor where it was hanging. I believe that's been fixed.
Yes,
so if you're having issues, it should go ahead and try it again. I'm guessing you've probably already tried it again if you were wanting to render something, but if you haven't, it should be fixed. All right. So the moment we've all been waiting for is to listen to JC. We're going to hand it off to JC to talk about something that came up with the way that our logic behind the rounded corners in Rive works. So I will just, I'll let him talk about that.
Okay, let me share the screen. Here and here. Okay, and the thing is, recently we changed the logic of the round corner to make the behavior more predictable and fix some problems we had in the past. So here I want to show you how it works before the round corner. In this case, when you change the size of this square, the round corner, in one point mix together and create this weird shape. And sometimes when you change the size of the form more, sometimes the shape disappear. This is one of the problems we had in the past. So now the round corner works like this. When you change the size, the round corner adapt to the size in this way. So never we have this weird curve in the corners. We never lose the curve. It's more easy, more clean when you create something. Something you need to keep in your mind is that when you edit the vertex, for example, when you add a new vertex here, you can see how the round corner changes. In this case, it's because this vertex have the handless, and the handless depends of the handless. You change the curve, so work as a limit for the curve. In this case, if you use a simple vertex, the round corners go back to the original. But when you move the vertex, you can see how it changes the curve. The other thing is to keep this curve, for example. One thing you can do now with the new logic is flat this curve using the convert radial corners. In this case, you have these vertex and handless, and in this way, when you move the vertex, the curve keep in the same way. So this is something that you need to keep in your mind when you use the round corner now. But because we changed this, it's possible, depending how you use the round corner, it's possible that in all files, the curve are different now. Maybe change. For example, if you had something like this in an old file with this curve, maybe when you open the file now, you find that the curve now is different. It's like this. And this is because the logic is different, because this vertex work as a limit for the curve. In this case, what you need to do is remove this vertex and create a new curve. For example, in this case, one thing you can do is move this vertex, move this vertex like this, for example, in this position where the curve don't change more, and take these two vertex and flat the curve. And in this way, you can remove this vertex and you have something that you have before. So depending how you use the curve in these old files, you can find some change. And the thing is, you need to edit all these vertex. Other thing you need to know is it's possible that, because this change, it's possible that what you see in the editor is different than what you see in the runtimes. So for this demo, I make a little animation. So simple, but it's fun. To fix this, in this case, is because this is the new logic, this is the new shape, and the runtimes is the old runtime. So you see the old logic of the round corner. So the only you need to do is update the runtime, and yes, that's it. Yeah, change the round corner. So I want to do this again. You update the runtimes, and That's it. Now you can see the same. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to show you is this. One thing important, or one use of the round corner is one case that you need this curve, for example, is when you create legs or arms and you use the round corner as a knee or elbow. For example, in this example, when I move this arm, for example, I use the round corner to make the form of the elbow. So here you can see that I have 50 of the value. But maybe what I want is that this curve work from here to here, not only this part, all this part. Now with this new logic, I can do that. So if I increase this value, you can see that the curve don't move too much. So in this case, I can use this round corner. So for that, I want to show you how you can create a control to edit this curve wherever you want. So in this case, I'm going to duplicate this arm here. And the first thing I'm going to do is this, okay. The first thing I'm going to do is create a new bond in the same direction of these bonds and use this bond as a control. So I'm going to move this bone in the position I need, that is the knee or the elbow, this part. And now I'm going to bind this bone to the shape. So I'm going to select the shape here, and oops, here. And I'm going to remove this bone and weight all the bones again. This second, and the third is this, oops, second, and the new one that is here. Okay. And now this vertex is for the blue, this vertex is for the yellow. And here, I'm going to remove this round corner. I'm going to use a mirror vertex with the handles and increase the length. Maybe something like this. And oops. And this vertex and handles here, I'm going to wait with this new bone. Okay, so now when I move this bone here, you can see that I have the curve, but the curve is in this part, not in the middle. That is what I want. So what I'm going to do is select this bone, that is the new. I'm going to rename this control. This. And the other thing is when I move this bone, oops. When I move this bone, the curve is here, not here. I want here the curve. And the other thing is when I move this bone, the new bone is here. What I need is that this bone follow this. So I'm going to move this bone and nest to this here. So this way, when I move this bone, all the system move together. Okay. The other thing is when I move this, what I need is that this bone use the same rotation of this. And for that, I'm going to use a constraint, the rotation constraint, and use as a target this bone here. So now the control follow this bone. But now the problem is that the curve is in this part. What I need is the curve in the middle. So what I'm going to do is in the control, in the constraint, I'm going to change the strength to 50. So this way, this bone always is in the middle of the rotation of this. And in this way, the curve is in the middle of all these systems. So when I move this bone, you can see how the curve works. And the other thing is now I can select this bone and change the scale to make this curve more small or more bigger. So if I work with an arm, for example, this can be the elbow. For example, in one point, maybe this character is more cartoony. In one point, the arm changes like this and have more cartoony arms, for example. So this is one way to create something like this, a control to make this. This example is other that you can use. For example, you can move this control here. You can move, oops, what is here? You can move this control here. And using the same system, you can see here that I have this bone to change this. You can rotate and change this curve. You can scale. And you can make different things you want. So it's something interesting that you can use in your animation to improve the curve and create different things. And that's it. This is all about round corners.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm putting
It's
that
simple,
one in the
fast,
toolbox.
What?
I'm putting that one in my toolbox.
Yeah. That's all. I mean, I love that you addressed like the issue and then like blew a bunch of minds about just, your rigging. The way you think about rigging things is really interesting.
Sometimes it's this, when you find a problem that you can do something, you can find a way to create something to make this. Sometimes in this case, this control gives you more possibilities to create different things. And this is very interesting too. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I recommend for anybody out there, just work with JC and then you can ask him how to do things and your animation and rigging skills will increase tenfold within a week.
Yep.
That's it. I know that's not fair, but it's true. Rive perk right there. All right. Well, I think that about wraps up all of our demos and all that. Do we have any questions that came through, or are we?
Not right now. I have a question on the tail of your Rive perks thing. What was the best perk you guys ever had at a job? Like I worked at a golf course one time, and that was the best job I ever had because I got to play free golf all the time. Even during the workday, it was amazing. Does anybody else have anything like that? Like McDonald's, you get the free fries or something?
No, I have, but it's not animation. In my old company, we have a job that was in a beer company. Beer company want to send a can of beer to the stratosphere. Yeah, to the stratosphere. And that's so weird because we never think how you can do that. And we find a kit. You can buy a kit with all the system to send something to the stratosphere. So we did that, and we have a lot of beer free for a long time. So
it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I worked at a bookstore for a while in college and got a ridiculous discount. And then they do like an employee appreciation day, and it would be an even more like a more giant discount. And so I stocked like a ton of books and CDs in my house, which I still have. So that was just a pure discount perk. But I'm gonna go and also say Rive with the free Rive account. I mean that's not bad.
Can't beat that. That's pretty sweet. We did have one question. Actually, yeah. So seconds versus frames. Which one works best? So just to give some context to this while we think about the answer. Rive is interesting because we measure everything in time, but it's also, you can divide your time by frames. It doesn't change the frame rate of your animation. Just the how the time is sort of divvied up and the interpolation works. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. Rive is has been my main animation tool for a long time. So this is the only system that I'm really familiar with. I don't know what y'all think about it.
Yeah, for me, I can say that I always think in frame. I never think in seconds, because maybe I start animation with making traditional animation, and always you think about you draw one paper, other paper. I always think about frames, frame. Yeah, I think I can think. For me, it's more difficult if I think in second, but I think it's something I have in my mind for all this time with animation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think frames kind of gives you the fidelity of the animation, so you can think about like, these are the key positions I need to hit, and if you start doing that with seconds and you shorten or lengthen that duration, like, you can miss some of those key frames, right, that you want. So
yeah, it's true that sometimes one frame, 2 frames can change all the animation, because these 2 frames have one pose or something that is the key of this. So yeah, this is true. Or sometimes when you add 1 or 2 frames more to the animation, since that 1 or 2 frames is not too much, but sometimes you have the difference in the animation. Yeah, so it's like thinking in the small way, the minimal way in the animation.
Yeah, many things can happen in a second. So it's like you're breaking up the second in many frames.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't ever realize how long a second was until I started animating. I'm like, dude, you can cram so much stuff into a second. Holy crap. That was a good question. Okay. Ivan is asking, what awaits Rive in the near future, not including the site, which is amazing. Saw it on Twitter. And I'm guessing not including remixing too. Near future.
Oh, I can speak to one.
Ooh, do it.
We have, and I think we've teased this on Twitter a few times. We've got a new runtime coming out soon for macOS. And it's gonna, just to give a sneak peek, it's gonna work very, very similarly to, from an API perspective and usage perspective, to the iOS runtime, which works on iOS, iPad, and one other one I'm forgetting. It's in our docs. But the macOS one you can use natively on macOS desktop, and it'll be really exciting to get out there. You can. I was not aware of like all the things that you could do, such as like animating your dock icons or your status bar icons and things. So we'll definitely, once that lands, we'll make a big splash. We'll have appropriate documentation on how to change all of those things, and so I'm particularly excited about that.
Yeah, and the chefs in the back, they're always cooking up new stuff. So it could be something that we mentioned. I think, was it last live stream where we talked about the timeline? Maybe 2 live streams ago. I don't remember. Could be something from that list, or it could be something that someone's like, "Hey, so I made this thing today. It works." So
yeah. Well, like the Mac OS, like, I think one of our engineers shared like an animated dock icon, and I was like, I didn't even know we were like, maybe I had heard something about it, but actually seeing like that was like, whoa, that's what we're doing. That's exciting. So there are things that pop up that like weren't, I mean, I guess in my mind weren't like a big milestone release, but I think this is going to be a big, I mean, it can basically customize your Mac desktop with Rive animations and interactions, that's kind of mind blowing when you think about how wild that could get. And it might get a little overboard. Like some people might take it a little too far, but I think it's a really cool runtime to have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. This is like a 3-part question, and we'll put our heads together to figure this one out. All right. So this user, they're working on alphabet tracing in Rive. So I'm guessing they have a learning app or something that they're making. I have multiple paths, and when pointer enters, it goes from left to right. I'm increasing the input number value. All right. So that's part 1. But it decreases when I drag back. How do I stop that? I'm going to say, because this is kind of like, it's kind of a complex question, because I'm trying to imagine what you're doing. You should send us a support ticket. You should send us this file, and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, because it's interesting to see the state machine, how you configure the state machine to understand how works it. Yeah. And
if you're not sure how to do that, just go to our homepage, and there is a support tab. And under the support tab, there's a contact link there, and just fill it out. Let us know what your issue is, or not really what your issue is, but what you're trying to do, and send us that file, and we'll get back to you on it. You can also go to the Discord too. That's a good place to bring something like this. All right. In mesh animation, walk and running is possible. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. In fact, like all the game characters I've ever made were all meshed characters, all raster, and we did running and jumping and all of the things. It's really about how you set your character up. So unlike vector, where maybe you make, let's say, your leg out of one piece, a lot of the times when you're doing raster, you have to cut your leg into multiple pieces and do some back painting so that there's like a blank area where the knee is, and your shin sort of rotates on top of that. Same with like your arms and stuff. So it's a little different than vector, but once you figure it out, it's the same almost. And that's it. We had one question about sample 3D objects. I'm not sure if they want to know how to make 2D shapes into 3D objects. To do that, it's mostly about like your draw order and making custom draw orders and like the form of your shape and how it changes as you rotate it. But yeah, we can't use 3D objects in Rive.
Yeah.
But you can fake it.
Yeah, you can create some controls. I think I have let me find an example. I think I have an example here.
The orange is pretty cool.
The cube too.
Oh yeah.
Let me show the screen. This. Okay. It's working. Yeah. Okay. So this thing is an example. It's a cube. I remember what is the control. I think it's this. Yeah. So if I hide the bonds, you can see how works this. Is no real 3D. It's only the different shapes waiting with the different bonds. So here you can see how it's weight the vertex with the different bonds. Here too. And the other thing is that I use a constraint. So in this case, when I move this bone one side, this bone and this move to the opposite side. This way, this vertex move with this bone, and all these move with this bone, and create this effect. This. So for example, this line move with this bone, and this move with this. Yeah. So you can create different contours to create a fake 3D. This is one thing. But always you have a limitation. It's very difficult to create something that turn around. You can do maybe with something very, very simple, but something complex is very difficult. But yeah, you can do things like this. Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of fake like the turning of stuff. I have it's probably going to take way too long to find it. We've talked about this so many times. I need to organize my stuff so I can find this, but oh, actually the new site is live. Look at that. Let's see if I can find it really quick. We're going to get there. We're going to make it. Here we go. Let me just find this. I know I need to share my screen. Share screen. Not that. Not that. Chrome tab.
Definitely not that.
No. Here we go. All right. We're in there. Okay. So in this one, I don't know if y'all saw this last year. I had made this this headless Horseman animation. Oops. And it does all this camera zoom stuff. All right. So let me turn off these bones. All right. So I wanted to make this headless horseman come in and then have a front view and then a side view. And to do that, it was a lot of like, so I have a front bone structure. It's overlapped with this other one. So you can kind of see the outline of the side bone structure here. And then I've got the front view bone structure. And so really to get the 3D effect, it was really about like, as the character slides in, you really kind of have to like stretch these shapes and then switch it from side or from front to side really quickly. So you can do stuff like that where you're using different bone setups and different characters in different positions and then switch them around. Is that cube in the community, JC?
The cube is in the community. Yeah. In the community. And I have other example very quickly. This is the safe box.
Oh yeah, this one's cool too.
And this is the same idea. Using this control, this is if I move in the wrong way. This is not I want is this. It can open the box with this. And it's not 3D, it's only how the shapes, the forms when I move, you can see that. How they shape the form when I move the control and how the shape is weight with the different ones. Oops. Oops. No, wait. Because this don't have weights. Yeah. But yeah, tricks like this, you can create cool animations. Yeah.
Okay. I think this may be the last question. It's actually two people asked the same question. Yeah. Jill actually posted pretty much the answer in the chat about the Windows desktop app. We get this question a lot. And yeah, we are going to get it as soon as possible. I don't really have a hint for you. I wish I could.
Yeah.
All right. I do see there's one comment here. Tutorial on nested artboard, please. I think we've touched on it. I actually have JC did a whole using nested artboards to create like
the flowers. Exactly.
And then I believe we released a feature focus on using nested animations with artboards and listeners, and that was released on Twitter. I'll add that to our YouTube account. And then there's another one that builds on that and talks about the animation properties, so the simple and remap animations and what you can do with those. It was inspired by a community post of like a rainy lily pad scene that uses nested artboards to create the rain ripples and things like that. So yeah, there's a video that will kind of walk through how to build something like that. So yeah, cool. It looks like that nested artboard tutorial was posted in the chat, which is a really, there's a lot, not just the nested artboard, but the way that he rigs up the flower itself is really cool.
I think it might be worth us making a video maybe on, because I have seen this come up a few times in our support tickets about how the nested artboards and the state machine play together when you're playing animations, like you're keying animation, keying animations of nested artboards in animations that are going to go into your state machine and how those play with the state machine. It might be worth having a video on that, dedicated video, because I know I talked about it maybe a little bit in a live stream once, but I don't remember which one it was. I'm sure it was a Q&A thing. Yeah. Here's a question that I think we can answer. This is actually a good one. But how does it look, the desktop app? Does it look like Figma or more like After Effects? I think it looks more like Rive. I don't know if anybody else has an opinion on that.
Yeah, it's the same. I can say it's the same, and it's more faster. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Same. Yep. That's what from what I've seen, that it's just the browser app in a desktop format. So it's if you're familiar with everything in the web version, like you'll be ready. I mean, that was the idea, is that you'll just be ready to go and everything will be where it's supposed to be. And
yeah, and we want to make sure that it's like it's as snappy as possible. You know, you get the absolute best experience. Which is why we're taking our time on it and making sure that it's exactly what we want before we release it. So,
yeah,
great questions. All of the best. Always coming in with the hot fire.
All right. Well, I think we can go ahead and call this one done. And we will see you next week for the Rive integration workshop, which should be a really good one. I think we're working on some really neat demos for that. And just to see where you can use Rive, like where you can basically copy a link and throw it in there, and it'll be up and running for you in your website. So, and apps and things like that. So yeah, we're excited for that. And then 2 weeks from now, we'll have another live stream like this, same format, or similar format. They all kind of change up a little bit, but
same time, same bat channel.
That's right. Exactly. So yeah, I think we'll go ahead and call this one, and we will see everybody online, and happy animating and interactivating.
I love that. I love that.
Nice.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.